if I splurge is to like go to McDonald's or to go to Hardee's or something. One thing that we don't do, and this kind of has to do with the fact that my husband um he works in restaurants and he's done that for his whole career. We actually don't really eat out at restaurants,
Mhm.
hardly ever. I would say I go out to eat maybe 2 to 3 times a year, and that's
Yeah.
usually because friends or family will ask me to do something with them. And I'm not so rigid that I'll just be like, no, I don't eat at restaurants. But it means that I only do it a few times a year. So I know that's something that most people do like on a weekly basis. Sometimes I'll get Chinese, like I'll compromise a little, do Chinese takeout or McDonald's or take out pizza or something like that. But I typically we don't really do restaurants. We don't do like the date night thing. So we're
Mhm.
just not those people that go out to eat. But that's also because my husband knows about the like the margins they have, and he doesn't really want to pay for, for a meal that he knows what it costs and he knows what they're charging. So I don't know. He's kind of like that. Plus, he's real
Mhm.
like quirky about the sanitation. So he doesn't usually trust. He doesn't trust a lot of places just for the cleanliness aspect. Is
Yeah,
that
like
weird? I don't know.
no, I mean, it really depends on a person, but I think it's a good habit not to like eat out constantly when you don't have that much money. Like for me, when I was really, really broke with my wife, we were living in a one bedroom, one bath apartment, and we made sure we really budgeted like every single day.
Mm,
When you're making like, I was making 20 grand a year, she was making 20 grand a year.
yeah.
When you're making that kind of money, like I was always checking the bank account because after rent, groceries, gas, wow, it's slim.
Yeah.
Like so, I would always check and make sure we don't go out too much to eat, and also when I started making a bunch of money, I actually splurged myself. Like with my wife, we just started going out to eat every single day for months, and then we realized,
I
man,
bet
this
it made
is
the restaurant people very happy though.
yeah. But it was not satisfying. And we kind of reverted back to our normal lifestyle. I mean, we would go out to eat, but we'll probably go out to eat once or twice a week now instead of every day. But I think it's more like once a week actually. So it's like a
So
date night
can
thing.
I offer you some tips for getting the most out of your meals?
What is it?
Okay, as far as what you order, there are certain items that have really high margins. Typically, a restaurant tries to stay around 30%. Usually, it's around 30% food cost.
Yeah.
And then there's the labor and everything else and the
Hmm.
overhead. Um, but if they're over 30%, that's a lot. But what
Yeah.
they'll do is, say a dish like pasta might have really high margins. They'll
Hmm.
mark up the pasta more than like a steak. So even though a steak is more expensive, they know if
Yeah.
they mark that up too high, people won't pay for it. So if you
Hmm.
really kind of want to get the most out of your restaurant experience, it's actually better for you to get something that costs the restaurant more. So get the
Yeah.
steak, get the shrimp, get the lobster because they're not marking that stuff up as much as the cheaper
So
items.
what about salad? No salad?
Oh geez, they make so much money on salad. Like, yeah, anything that's like, and also things like breakfast items, pizza. Profit margin is really high.
Yeah.
And in fact, I remember living on like, remember those $5 Little Caesars pizzas? I remember
Yeah, I
definitely like
remember
living
those.
on those for a while.
Oh
But
my
yeah, so if you're
goodness.
going out to eat, just know that if you're getting their higher dollar item, they're actually not marking it up as much as the other things. So
Mhm.
you should actually feel kind of good about like getting a steak or getting something that's a little fancier because, and also when we do go out to eat, it's good to order items that you can't cook at home. Like you can
Right.
make pasta at home, but if you're going to have a special occasion, why not get something that you can't easily replicate in your house, in
Mhm.
your own kitchen? And then it kind of makes it a little, more unique for you. And you're getting something that you can't. Although I will say sushi is actually pretty easy to make at home. So
Really?
it's
No
actually
way.
not that. It's really not that bad. Like we've
Yeah.
made it before, and if you're using like the imitation crab or something, it's pretty cheap. Because when you think
Mhm.
about it, it's rice, you season it, it's nori, and then it's like how like there's so little ingredients in sushi. So if you make your own sushi
It's
at
the
home,
raw
it's pretty
fish.
cheap.
Those are
Yeah, the roll.
expensive.
Well, that yeah, and don't also yeah with the sushi, you need to get sashimi grade fish Because if
Yeah.
you just get regular fish, it's not good to eat raw.
Hmm.
But if you're like me, I liked cooked rolls. I don't really like a lot of the raw things, but putting like imitation crab in a sushi roll is really cheap. So if you are doing stuff like that, it's actually not that expensive to make your own sushi. Like it's pretty cost effective.